Hello learners, this is Pradeep Naik, CEO of Fuel Media Solutions Private Limited, also known as Fuel India. I welcome you all to another exciting new session of event industry, and today I'm going to talk about event controls and evaluation. Well, every event company starts off really small, and as they aspire and as they grow and as they learn the nitty-gritties of doing business, they tend to scale and form and become a corporation or even bigger companies. But behind the success of every event company, from a small scale company to a large scale company, there's a lot of efforts. There are certain standard operating procedures, there are certain measures, there are some controls and some evaluation process which helps the company grow to the next level. And today I'm going to highlight more on evaluation. So allow me to share a small presentation which will give you more details as a part of your curriculum. As I mentioned, I'm going to talk about event evaluation. In this session, you're going to understand the concept of evaluation and the importance. We'll also understand the outcomes of the process of evaluation, and we'll also understand when to evaluate events. Evaluation and controls, they play a very important role in strategic event management. Control is an activity which is applied across all key functions of the organization, or at least majority of the key functions of the organization, and it can be measured, and controls are more on a measurable category. Whereas evaluation is something that is being done during the process of the event or post the execution of the event, or post process is what we call it. So these are the major difference between the event control and event evaluation. So event and control need special attention. The reason being, what happened is that our industry was purely built on experience. There wasn't any particular course as such that we have a bachelor's degree in event management or production or operations, etc. There wasn't anything like that. I'm talking about 15, 20, 25, 30 years back. So it evolved as in when people with specializations joined an organization or joined a force and created something, wholesome experiences. So that is how the process was. But it took a lot of time for these companies to just organize and form a structure in themselves to become an organization. And after becoming an organization, the last things that anybody would want to look into is get controls in place or evaluate. And our industry, even for today, when we're looking at thousands of companies who are registered and everything, still we are this 60% registered company, and still there are 40% who still operate under an unorganized sector. So for all the rest who are under unorganized sector, for them to come into an organized sector and at the same time also give another level of push to the existing organized sector, evaluation and controls play a very important role. Though it has been neglected on a very large part, the reason being people don't feel that we have to do that because they haven't experienced the magic it creates, or the progress it accelerates in your organization when you implement controls or implement evaluation. For there are cases even in a few large scale company or in a upcoming company or a small scale company where they will evaluate big events. If I'm talking about, when I say big events, it could be a concert, or it could be a very big flea market show, or it could be a conference for 10,000, 20,000 people, or a very big exposition. So they might evaluate that, saying that, oh, how are we going to do it during the process of the event, and post event, oh, what are the things that we had to learn, what happened, what went wrong, what could have gone right, and everything they will evaluate. But not every company will do a mega show every day. They will do probably one in a month or two in a month or three, but they don't do it every day. The everyday bread and butter would be still the smaller shows or a medium-sized shows, which could be anything ranging between, if I have to put it in terms of a denomination, it could be ranging between 2 to 10 lakhs or 15 lakhs. So which is known as a mid-scale shows. So people might not take that an effort to evaluate such events. Well, there are few organizations, well, I don't want to name them, but they have put few processes and controls in place across different verticals or different management in the organization, so that the evaluation and control process is applied across all levels. From an office admin all the way up to the CEO, all this process and controls are applied and everybody follows it to the T. So as learners, so it is very important. As I told, this is something very, very new in our industry, which people have adapted in the last 7, 8 years or maximum a decade. You who are watching this video are the future event managers, are the future event organizers of our industry. And it is very, very important for you to understand it from day one that this event controls and evaluation as a process, if you adapt it in your daily work culture, you will go a long way, or probably your instincts of learning things would be better, your correction level on each and every event would be better, your performance after each and every event is going to be much better. So you can evaluate yourself and you can evaluate even your own work that you've done. So there have been two great authors like Bowden and Getz who have given their own description about evaluation. I will just read out what Getz say, which is very close to what I believe. Is a continuous process of checking and rechecking, measuring and remeasuring, assessing and reassessing of the results achieved through the process. Considering event is an investment, the event manager must be able to access the cost incurred in the event and return on investment. So the way how we see it, see, event can be an investment for you as an event manager, for the organization as a project, or so everybody is looking some kind of a return on investment. So everybody is investing. So as an event manager, what you're doing is you're putting in all in your skills in that event, trying to give a wow experience to the client. At the same time, the organization is investing all its reputation, years of experience and hard work to give the wow experience to the client. So everybody is looking at some kind of a return, that is the outcome of the event, and that's how we achieve it through evaluation. So the next topic that I'm going to talk about is need for evaluation. So any events has two evaluation processes. One is, has the event met its objectives, or what can be improved in the next event if a similar event is going to be held. Now, every event, every activity that we do has some or the other objective, either from the client side, from the event side, or mostly, yes, if I'm doing an event for a client or if it's a own IP that I'm doing. So every event has an objective, whether it is for a sponsor or for the client or for anybody for that matter. So what we have to evaluate post event is that the purpose of doing that event, has it been achieved? So the objective could be different for different people. The objective for some people would be fame. The objective for some people could be the reach that they're going to do. For example, if I'm just going to say, like, I want to do a show for Arijit Singh. So the objective could be reaching out to a larger audience, making sure that there are 5,000-6,000 people attending the event. We generate good revenue. The objective could be that I'm giving a good terms of good footfalls for the event, and I'm giving good visibility for the brands who are associated with me. And at the same time, the artist who's performing, he gets a good response, and all his fans are able to attend the event and get more in terms of the experience of hearing Arijit Singh live. So that are the list of objectives that I can draw from an example like a Arijit Singh concert. Similarly, what can be improved in the next event if a similar event is organized? So it's not necessary that we don't have to match the evaluation of a concert to a next concert only. There could be few learnings, there could be some few findings that we can apply for all the kind of events. It could be, for example, stage management, the way the stage was handled, the way the artist came on stage, the way the sound lighting was handled, where the production took place, how much time it happened, and could be how early we take the venue. As we go along, I will give a little detail. For example, now when we take a venue, so there are some venues which we get a day prior, there are some venues which we get 3 days prior, where there are some, so it purely depends upon the scale of production that we're doing. Now it is the experience of the operations and the production team, it is the experience of the event manager who will evaluate and from his prior experience and understand that, okay, this is the scale of the setup, it would take us 2 days, or I would say 48 hours for us to put this thing together, and I would need another 6 hours to do the dry run and trial run and so on, another 2 hours once the artist arrives for his own round of trial run. So this is what we predict, and we just go ahead and we do with it. Now post event, what would have happened is that 48 hours wouldn't have been enough, because it could be rainy season. So if there is a rainy season, the trucks are delayed and so many things. So these could be learnings, it could be findings. Wouldn't have created some ramp, or there could be some kind of a shelter that might be needed for workers during the work that they have to do for 2 days, because in case they don't have a shelter, again the process of the constructing the venue and everything might also delay. So there are many factors which the operations or different departments have to make a note of their findings and learnings, so that we improvise it event on event. Lessons that we learn from one event are definitely going to be, and I'm saying for me it is close to 15 years in this industry. Every event is a new learning. I'm sure every event I find a new learning, that oh, probably we can do this way, it will save some more time, it will give another wow experience. But it's not always that it is not a finding of a fault, or it is not finding that there is a mistake or something. It is about finding how we can do things better. It could be if I'm doing like if we the kind of MC that we have hired, or the work that they do, or the artists that we hire, the work that we do, so we can evaluate their work also and can improvise a few things that we add to it, might improve the performance and might take it to the next level. So here we are also going to talk about the expectations of the stakeholders. Now here this is a mega size event which has been taken into consideration. We are talking about, it could be an exposition or it could be a big government event. So evaluation need of organizer, evaluation need of the sponsor, donors, government department, tourism bodies and travel agents. So how do we meet the expectation? I'll give an example. I know I'm giving a lot of examples because it's a lot more easier for you to understand and learn when I give you example. So if I'm doing an event, for example, in a city, which will have an entire city participating in it. For example, we talk about Ran Utsav that happens, or we talk about the Kumbh Mela. So now what is, how do we evaluate? Now we evaluate what is the organizer supposed to do. Is it doing, so has it been done as per expectation? That is one level of evaluation that you do. Now, there are many sponsors who have put in their money in those events, or could be donors who have put in their money, and they have invested money in that event, could be lakhs or crores, expecting some kind of a return. It's not tangible as such, but expecting some kind of good visibility, or could be good ROI for their brand, etc. So have they achieved it? We have to evaluate that. Government department. So how has government department been? So every event that we do, regional festivals like the Snake Boat Festival or Kumbh Mela, so there is an objective of the government also. So when I do that, so all automatically in that duration, that 2 or 3 days when the event, or a week when the event happens, that particular state government, that particular state, all of a sudden, if you see, gets highlighted. You see any kind of online platform, you will be able to see more about that particular state, because it's not only about that event that is happening, things around that event, about the tourism of that event, location, tourism, and everything are totally encapsulated to the next level. And also we have to evaluate tourism bodies and travel agents. The way, as I told you, it depends upon, like Kumbh Mela, if it happens, there are lakhs and thousands of people who go from different parts of the state, country, or different countries, who travel to that location through air, through travel, through road, or through train, etc. So it automatically generates more revenue through the travel bodies. So we would have set some expectations that this much revenue would come with so many people entering into these states. So we have to see if those revenues are met, if those things are evaluated, and the process has taken care of the state. Now, impact of event. So the impact of event by generating events is essential for the success of our organization of future events. So any event for a company, like look at our company, Fuel Media Solutions Private Limited. So every event that we do, small, large, or anything, a mega event that we do, every event will determine the future of that company. Every event is observed by at least, I would say, 150, 200,000, like number of people that who observe that event, creates an impression about the company, decides, or kind of amplifies the future stakes of the company, or the future betterment. So there are different types of impact. It could be economic impact, which is direct and direct. For example, the event is not that great, it doesn't deliver as we expected. Of course, for example, I say that I expect that I do a concert, I expect 10,000 people to attend and so on, but only 3,000 people attend. So there is a direct impact, that is economic impact, that I envisioned 10,000 ticket sales, but we did only 3,000. We envisioned 10 sponsors to come on board, we got only 5 sponsors on board. So the way we evaluate it could be economic. So that is one. Next could be political, physical, and social impact. Political could be because during that time the event was something which would give some political direction. Could be some political mileage would have been derived from that event, and if it is not arrived, or the other way, if it is gone in that way, in the other angle, wherein it gives kind of an amplification to the relevant party who is currently operating. So that's how it works in that. Social impact is purely because if it is an event that is kind of creating, like we're talking about marathons, we're talking about Pinkathon and many cyclothon and many things, these are social impacting events. So what happens is that socially, when thousands of people participate, they are doing, they're running together, they're walking together, they're cycling together. As a society, we come together for the common cause. So the social impact. So the entire city is talking about a cause which we all come together, and it automatically brings all the attention towards that particular cause or the thing that we are all trying to achieve together. Now, tangible impact could be in terms of economic cost, percentage of satisfaction, social life, happiness, pride, etc. So the best examples would be marathon. So what happens is that in marathon there are thousands of people running. So there will be only 5 or 6 winners, the top. But what are the other? The 1,000 people also know that out of 10,000 people there are only 5 winners, or the people who complete or finish it first. What about the rest 9,900 and whatever number it is? What will they do? So they are running for achievement, they are running for pride, they are running for satisfaction, they're running for themselves, they're running just to feel good. Oh, I'm fit. So the pride. So in the end, every participant, whether he's got first or last or whatever, who finishes the race gets a medal, and that itself gives you satisfaction that I've finished it. Might be the last person, but still that you finished it. Or some people, it could be they might not be like physically fit and everything, but this is their first attempt and everything. They've at least attempted it. So there is some kind of a takeaway, some learning that, or could be the person who's come 10th there. Oh shit, I was in the top 10 out of 10,000 people. I could have been in top 1. So the top 5, then he will aim for that. So everybody has some kind of a takeaway from the event, or it could be an impact. So it could be like I've known people who have been to one marathon, and today they're a big fan of marathon, and they're doing even something called triathlon and things like that, where they do cycling, swimming, and running all together. So triathlon, this is what called. So they try all different kinds of records to be broken. So that's the type of impact I'm talking about. These are intangible, impacts of every event. Now, when do we evaluate events? So that is the question. So there's something called pre-event assessment, which takes place in the initial stages. That is when we start to plan about the event. So we do assessments based on like what are the things required based on the previous event learnings, and what are things that we have to take care. So we do a little bit of evaluation so that our event is executed as we plan. Then monitoring the event. So this is called under category is called as formative evaluation also. So here what happens is that during the process of the event, so sometimes some events we get the brief on Monday, the event is executed by Saturday. Some events, what happens is we get the brief in January, the event is executed somewhere in the month of September, October, because that's the duration of the event. So things like there are some Gantt chart and everything. These are big shows that we plan much ahead of time. Could be concerts, could be exposition and everything, which have different things, like there is sponsorship to be taken care, marketing, sales, planning, artist management, and so many things during the period of 6 months. And every step needs an evaluation so that we understand that we are heading in the right direction. Events which are like shorter duration could be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days. Those things can be like, you can evaluate it in probably just 1 or 2 steps. But events that are spread across 6 months, a year, or more than that, has to be evaluated on a multiple level or on a different level. For you to give an example, events like Olympics, Commonwealth, or it could be the T20 or the IPL. So IPL happens on a particular month. It happens for 30, 40, 45 days. But the planning or the entire process is around more than like 6 to 8 months. So there is some companies who are sitting and doing that 6 to 8 month planning, and who are evaluating every month, like, oh, this we were supposed to do this month, there was an auction to happen, and this event happened, this. So they have to evaluate it every step so that the end objective that they have drawn has to be achieved. So that is why you have to evaluate it every step. It's like when you're studying, you are, the final exams is in the March, but you do evaluate yourself, right? You do a midterm exam, and then you do a preparatory exam and everything. What is that? That's evaluating yourself. In very similar way, we have to evaluate during the process of the event. So that is known as formative evaluation. The next thing we talk about is the post-event evaluation, which is the very, very important and something that I recommend that everybody who are a part of the event industry do it regularly. So here what happens, it's also known as summative evaluation. Once the event is complete, you have to sit with your entire team, could be the production, operation, and everybody, take everybody's opinion, everybody's understanding, because if you're doing a big show, there are hundreds of people involved and each one has a different observation about the event. So each one of you, of the people who are involved, could be 100 volunteers or 200. I would suggest if you can call a meeting with everybody, do that, because there could be some freelance event organizers that you know, hired and all those people, and they have observed it. They have observed a similar event somewhere else and they can see the difference here. So take everybody's opinion, make a note of it, highlight the major points, and make sure you apply those things in your next event so that you give even. So I'm sure the event that you did will be a wow event. You can amplify it to the next level, or make it, I don't know, there is no term as wow to wower. So yeah, that kind of an event is what you have to deliver. So summative evaluation, or as I call it post-event evaluation, is a must. And there has to be a process. I would say make it a point in any company that you join. If there is no process of post-event evaluation, make a basic template or a basic form that has to be given to each and every participant of, in terms of, you know, the crew or somebody who will fill that, and they will write their points, that things that they could have improved in the event, or things observation, or also it could be about things that have been done really well and could have been done even better. So make a list of it. This is something that I urge that you, as a future event organizers and future event managers, start applying it in your daily life once you start working in the company, or probably even as interns, or the initial stages when you're going to observe the events. Make your notes in terms of evaluate each and every event that you attend, just for your understanding and learning. For example, if you were in that position, what you could have done better. So we do that, right? When we watch cricket, we say, oh, yeah, he could have taken a square cut, he could have hit a straight and everything. So we evaluate because of the knowledge that we have. Now, as event managers in the future, I would urge you that you do this as your daily routine. With this, we come to our first session on this, that is evaluation. In our next session, we're going to talk about control, event controls, which is another very important part of the event control and event evaluation topic.